Hi everyone, so this video is going to show you through the quick start guide for Microsoft Teams. So this guide has been produced for those that are facilitating training within Teams and just to use the meeting options within Teams, so it won't show the whole kind of aspects and all the functions that are within Teams. So if you go to start and joining your meeting, so you'll see that this comes up first, and this is where obviously you can do some of your camera and audio settings as well. You can set up your room audio and customize your setup here. Most of these you'll want on, so like your camera, etc. I'm not going to put it on just yet because it will interfere with the loom, and then also your microphone there as well, or you can choose to not join audio. This is quite important so you know what this looks like, so in case any of your participants have any issues, that then you can ask them to rejoin and make sure that these are toggled on. Just click join now. And as you can see here, so this is my Teams. And so as you can see, I've opened it up and you can see I've been notified that someone, me on another device, is in the waiting lobby. So I shall just put that there for the moment. And we shall go through, let me make this full screen for everybody. And we'll go through the guide. So as you can see, if we go at the top here, we have got our meeting bar up here, and this will be here the majority of the time, and this is where most of your functions will be for the training and some of the functions that you'll want, like sharing your screen, etc. as well. So you've got the icons here, and we'll go through them one at a time. So obviously we have our video here, so the camera icon. So as you can see that it is switched off, but if you click on here, you'll be able to see your preview of yourself there, and you'll also then be able to have a drop down to choose which camera it is that you are having. You can blur your background, which means then obviously most of your background behind you will be blurred out, or you can choose more background effects, which will then obviously go on to the virtual backgrounds here that you can choose there. Then if you go onto your sound again, so this is where you can mute yourself or unmute yourself, like this. If you are having any problems with your video or your microphone, if you click here on these three buttons, it says more actions, and go onto device settings, then you can see here that you've got your audio devices, your speakers, and your microphone and your camera. These are all drop down, so then you can choose which ones, if you want to use your internal mic, or if you want to use an external one that you have plugged in, and again for your speakers as well. And you can adjust the volume for these, and you have your built-in microphone. And again, you can also choose which one you would like to use. My sound might have changed a little bit now. And again, you can go through and see how well the volume is being picked up, and you can see from here the level of that. And again, you can do that with your camera as well. So if anything isn't connecting, or if there is any issues, then you can go through onto your device settings and make sure that it's linked up to the ones that you do want to use. So if we go on to background settings, so your virtual backgrounds, you can see if you click this on the video icon up here, you can see it comes up with a preloaded, quite a range of different backgrounds that you can use as your virtual background. However, you can also add a new one. So if you click on here, it will then take you to your computer's hard drive and your files, and so then you can look at your photos and you can change your background to anything that you wish, which links into the other guide of how to make Teams more engaging, because you could ask your delegates to do a Google search for images relating to whatever you're training, and they can change their background to show this, so you can make it as a bit of a fun game. Or also with quizzes like agree or disagree, you could just ask them to change their background to a red block or a green block, and then they can change their virtual background as a way to participate within that as well. So again, to make it a little bit more fun and engaging. So if we go on to participants, that is this little icon of the 2 people up here. And as you can see, I've got someone waiting in the lobby. I'll discuss the lobby and how you can override this a little bit later as well. But if we click on the participants, it will say show participants. And so you can see here that then this will be our menu. You've got myself as a guest waiting in the lobby with the option to admit them, or I can not admit them there. Then you've got myself here as the organizer, and also you've got the share invite up here. So if any of your participants are struggling to get in, you can actually share the invite from the meeting. This will then copy it, as you can see here. So you can copy the meeting link, or you can share via an email. And if you copy the link, then obviously you can send it to them via other emails as well. So you can also see that there are the 3-dot menu here as well. And if you click on that, there is manage permissions, and you can also download the attendance list as well for the meeting, which is then obviously quite handy. Manage permissions, unfortunately I can't show you at the moment because it doesn't work fully on a Mac. However, if you click on that, you will need to have the full admin rights for the account for Teams, but then you can manage the permissions of who does what within the meeting. However, I will also show you there are some ways that you can do that actually within the meeting without having to log out and go into the main admin rights as well. So you can see we've got our participants there, and as I said, they are in the lobby. So if I let them in this way, sorry about that, I muted myself on that one as well, so there wasn't any feedback. So now, as you can see in the meeting, it says here, so it's got myself and it has got myself on my other device as well as a guest. So you can keep participants as a guest if you are just delivering training. However, if you want them to have some of the functions, so such as kind of sharing their screen later on and be able to do some other things as well, what you need to do is click on their name. And again, then you can see that this little menu option comes up. And then we've got a range of options here as well. So you would want to be able to make them an attendee. And as you can see, then this changes their role, and then it changes some of their functions that they can do. So they can share content, they can mute others, and they can do some more things as well. So now, as you can see, we've got presenters and we've got attendees. They will get a notification to let them know that they are now an attendee as well. So again, if we click on this, we can choose, and then we can don't allow them to unmute. So if you were doing quite a large, say a webinar kind of meeting where you don't want anyone to talk for quite a while and you are just giving a lot of information, you can make sure and click that they can't unmute so that it won't be disturbing the presentation. And then obviously you can switch this off at any time when you are wanting your participants to interact. So you can pin the video as well. So by pinning them, highlights that participant for us within that screen. So as you can see, I've now pinned, it's changed, and we just have that participant there as our main screen. So that it's just for myself to watch. The other attendees do not see this, so it is pinned there as well, just for us as the organizer or the presenter. You can also go on to Spotlight. So as you can see, this will spotlight for everybody and it will highlight their video in a meeting. So again, if maybe they are a co-presenter for yourself, or if they are talking and giving quite a few good examples, you can spotlight their video, which means then that depending, regardless of what everyone's gallery settings and viewing settings are, is that their video will then be spotlighted and they can see who is talking and be able to interact in that way as well. So as you can hear, if I stop the spotlight, you can see that that will happen like that as well. Again, they will get notifications when you spotlight them and unspotlight them. You can make them a presenter which means then they will have the same options as you as a presenter, and they'll be able to fully share screen, and they'll have more controls over the other participants as well. And obviously you can remove them from the meeting if you wish to. So our next function within the menu we're going to look at is the chat, and as you can see, that's the little speech bubble here. So this is going to allow you to send messages to all participants, or private messages to individuals as well. You can also share files in the chat function, and there are some great functions within this as well that you can make to use Teams a bit more engaging as well. So if you click on chat here, and as you can see, it's got some of the information about where we've renamed, we started it, and we've joined the meeting. And then the main aspect of the chat is down here. So as you can see, you can just type in a message and you can send it. But then you can also, if you would like to send a message to a certain participant or notify them so that they know it's coming to them, you can type in the @ sign. It will come up with your list of participants. You can click them, and then you can just say what it is that you need to say to them. So you can notify them if they're talking. You can then actually, make your reply personalised to them as well. So if we go through some of these functions here, you can see then we've got the little pen icon here. This actually then makes this quite into as if like it was a Word document. You can see we can make the font bold, italic, underline it, we can scroll it, we can change the highlight colour, we can change the font colour as well, and then there are even more options of you can do the font size, paragraph, the indent, you can add bullet points, quotes, you can insert links as well, and you can even insert tables or undo and repeat your typing. And then obviously you can delete everything as well. So it does make that quite much like a Word file and using Word. So some of the other icons that we have down here is we've got the exclamation point, and that can add an importance to the message that you are going to send. So as you can see here, you can send a message as standard, it will be marked as important, or you can send it as urgent, and if you tag a participant in it, they will be notified every 2 minutes for 20 minutes that there is a message there for them. The paperclip icon allows you to send and attach files. So as you can see, that will pop up to upload from your computer. So again, if you click this, it will then open your drives within your computer and you can find your file that way. And then you can just attach it and send using the little paper aeroplane icon there. We have the little smiley face icon, which is all the different emojis that you can send. And I've been informed recently that Teams will be updating this, and there's going to have up to over, I think, 500 different emojis. So again, and these are great ways that you can add a more engaging, get participants to answer just by using an emoji, etc., and have some games that way as well. So again, you can see, and some of these move, so they are quite animated as well, which is quite funny. Then we've got the GIF icon here, or GIF, however you pronounce it. And again, you can see that this is all quite preloaded, very much like if you were on kind of Facebook and Twitter and things, that you can send GIFs around your emotions. So again, this is something that you can use to make it a bit more fun and engaging. You can search for all different kinds of GIFs here. So you can see then if you were typing around excited, loads of different ones will come up to show all the different excited ones there. So again, you can use that as a way to make it quite fun and engaging. And then the little post-it note icon here is stickers, which again is very similar to GIFs, but they're not as animated. And again, you can search and look for different ones here. So again, it's something that you can use to make things a little bit more fun. And then the last three dots here are ways that you can find apps into your session. Now, some of these will work brilliantly for any kind of meeting that you're having. Some apps will only work, so for Slido example, you can download and have an app that you can embed within your team meetings, which makes it a lot easier to use. However, that will only work with participants that are within the same organisation as yourself that you've set up within Teams. So if you're delivering training where you have set up and used the whole function with Teams, then that will work fine. But if it is a case where you've just set up the meeting and you're sending the link to external people outside of your Teams organisation, it won't work. And that might be the same for some of these apps. Some of these apps will work absolutely fine as well. So it will just be around having a look and finding what works for you. But as you can see, you can do some of these apps there and then. So you can search for YouTube, and you can then quickly find your, if I can find it, video if you wanted to. So there's one that we use, and then you can send that within your chat so that everyone will be able to access this and they can quickly click on and watch it if you wanted to do it that way, or if people were suggesting videos, etc. But like I said, it will be one. So there are ones that you can add polls, there's ones that you can add other kinds of engagement, but it will just be having a look, having a bit of a research on the apps and finding what it is that you can do and use. I think Poll Everywhere is one that you can use on regardless of who your participants are. So then that's another way that you can add in polls, a bit like with Zoom polls as well. So the next icon we've got up here is the other smiley face with a hand up, and these are our reactions. So if you click on this, you can see then we have different reactions that will then come up on that participant screen. So they can like things, they can obviously do the heart, they can applause and do claps, they can laugh, or they can raise their hand as well. So obviously if they were to do this, you would then see that it would appear on their screen for you, so that you know then that participant is wanting to talk or engage or has a question. So as you can see, I've just done that, and then again that has spotlighted it. It has made that camera more identifiable for me, and you can see that the hand is up there as well. Then we've got breakout rooms, which is this bigger square and the little square inside it. So breakout rooms is quite a new function within Teams. So if you click on this, you can see it will come up with this little window, and you can then choose drop down of how many rooms it is that you need. And then you can choose if you want to automatically assign your participants, which means Teams will do this automatically for you, or you can manually add your participants as well. So if I click 2 and click manual, so I can show you how we can do this as well, and then you click create rooms. As you can see, then they're creating the rooms for us. Now this doesn't mean that the rooms are open and your participants won't be invited into these rooms just yet. So as you can see, it has come up with the little menu bar on the side here. It's told me all my participants that I can assign because I clicked to manually assign them. Oh, excuse me. And we've got the rooms here as well. So obviously I've only got one participant in this meeting with me, but then I click on this. Click on assign participants, and then they would all come down as a drop down here, and you can either select all to place in a room, or you can then manually select the participants that you want. Click assign, and then you can choose, it will come up which room you would like them to go into, and then as you can see, it then says that in room 1 has my guest or my other participants there. You will know once you have assigned everybody, because it will say up here that all participants have been assigned. So once everyone's been assigned, then you need to click Start Rooms. This will open the rooms that have the participants in them. There you go. And then so it says it was leaving because once they are in a breakout room, it kind of opens up a brand new Teams meeting for them. And then within their own little meeting within their breakout room, they have the full functions. They can chat, and it's just their chat, and it is just their kind of little group, very similar to Zoom as well. So if we go up to the little three dots on the menu here, so as you can see, they as soon as I clicked open, my participant there was automatically put into the breakout room. So we can make an announcement. So we can type in and say, you know, give them a warning of 2 minutes left. And then that will appear as a text banner into their room as well. And we would able to recreate rooms, and then there are room settings as well. To join a breakout room, click on the 3 buttons there, and then as you can see, you can click join, you can rename the room, or you can close the room. And then when you join the room, it will go back in, and then to leave, you'll just use a very similar one up here, but just say leave room, and then you'll be able to go back to your main meeting room as this. So if I close the room for a minute, again, then the participants are automatically brought back into the room. So you can change that. So once rooms are closed, you can change it, and you can see we've got room settings here. So you can adjust this before you open rooms, and you can see then you can toggle on and off the option for them to automatically move into the room, so you can open the rooms. It's quite helpful if you open the rooms but you are still kind of explaining, you forgot to say something, and then they'll get that invite to join the room. So you can toggle that on and off, and also the participants to turn back into come back to the main meeting room as well. If you don't do that, they will only be able to do this if you close the rooms, but if you toggle this on as well, they'll be able to come back to the main room if they have any questions, etc. as well. And then as you can see, you can add rooms if you want to add more rooms for later activities. These are all closed. You can close breakout rooms like this, but then if you want to use breakout rooms again, it will come back up, so you can then either recreate, which then will delete all those existing rooms, and again then it will take you from the beginning of how many you want to, and if you want to automatically or manually assign. So the other main function that we mostly will be using is the share screen. So you can see that share content, it's up here at the top. And then you can choose if you want your desktop, your window, and you can see then it's got things here like whiteboard, PowerPoint, and browse. PowerPoint will only share any PowerPoints that you have saved within your Teams files and Teams organizations. So if you are sharing a PowerPoint, it's easier to have it open in the background in your computer, and it will come up here as a window, and you can choose that option as well. And then obviously when you click that, you can then show it, screen it, have it as full screen, and just work through it as your PowerPoint as you would normally. Then you've also got the whiteboard function. So Microsoft does have its own whiteboard here. So if you click on this, and so then as you can see, the whiteboard comes up like this, and it has its own little menu bar here, which you can toggle on and off. So the whiteboard here, we've got within that menu bar the different screens, so we can freehand and draw like this, as you can see, and we've got all the different colours as well. We've got a highlighter, so if you wanted to highlight things. There is the eraser, so I can delete everything that I've just done. And then there's also the text function, which again you can see here. So you can type away, and then you can edit that text as well. And you can change the colour, as you can see. Oops, zoomed into a bit too much. You can change all the different colours, or you can delete that function as well. There are post-it notes, so you can add a post-it. Oh, I have zoomed in way too much. There we go. So you can make so you can type little post-its as well, and you can move them along, so you can use them as a kind of a bit like a flip chart with different paper. Where would you like to place it, under what title, etc. And then also you can draw shapes as well. So if we go to the little cog here, which is the settings for the whiteboard, so you can see then you can save the whiteboard and export it as an image, and this will save onto your computer, which then you can put as a file within the chat to share with everybody, so they can then also save it. And then you can also allow other participants to edit, so they can annotate on the whiteboard as well. So you just need to make sure that that is toggled on or off depending on how you want it set. And then to stop sharing your PowerPoint or your whiteboard, you just click stop presenting at the top there, and it'll take you back to your main meeting. There are some more functions that you can look at within the settings. So these are under here under more actions. So we looked at device settings earlier. You can look at your meeting options. And so this is where you can look at the lobby. And so you can choose who can bypass the lobby, so it can be everyone, so they won't go into the lobby, which is a bit like a waiting room. People that you have within your organisation, so again those that are within your team organisation that are added to that, so you can choose this. You can do people in your organisation and guests, or just yourself as the main host. So if you are co-facilitating with someone within your organisation, you can ensure that they are then kind of excused and can come through that way as well. And then you can choose who can present. So again, it can be everyone, people within your organisation and guests, or just you, and you can choose that through that way. There are meeting notes, so you can click on this and it will take notes. So you can choose someone then who will take notes, and then these are shared during and after the meeting with everyone that also is within that meeting. So if it was you using it as an actual team meeting and wanted someone to take notes from the agenda of the day, then you can do this, and you can then save this within the team meeting, and everyone that's attended will be able to access that. Then we've got meeting details. So again, you can see that this then gives us the team meeting details. Again, that invite there, and then how you want to join. So again, if you have any participants that are struggling with the link, you can copy the join info there as the link and send it to them directly. You have the viewing options here, so you've got gallery, so you'll be able to see everyone down here at the bottom, or depending on whether you've pinned or spotlighted anyone. We've got the large gallery there, which is for more than 9 participants, and then you'll be able to see everyone as a gallery within your screen. And then we've also got the together mode, which is then does a virtual space for 5 or more people. We've also got then that you can make it full screen or focus. There's also a quick option to do apply your background effects. You can turn on live captions. However, this doesn't work for all devices because it doesn't work for myself as a Mac. If I've switched it on, as you can see there, it's come on here down the bottom, but it doesn't work great. It's a little bit glitchy for a Mac. But that is an option that you can do as well to make your meetings a little bit more accessible. And then you can switch that off. Here is also as well where you can do your recording, so you can start your recording and record your meetings, which we've done like that. And as you can see, and the participants will get a notification that it's recording, and it does come up with a little notification up there for you as well to obviously just say make sure that you know everyone is being recorded, which you can dismiss that way, and then you can stop recording at any time as well. The dial pad here is if you were to call anyone within your team's organisation, so it's not really needed within meetings unless you are doing meetings within your organisation, and obviously you can turn off your own video as well. So then once you have fully completed all of your meetings, you've done your training, you've done your presentation, and obviously then you want to leave the meeting. So obviously your participants can leave by clicking the little red button on their screen as well. So then, as you can see, I've left on my other device, so then that is just myself on within this meeting, and you'll know when no one is in as well, because it will ask you to invite people to join you in case you can't access the participants, etc. So you can either leave. However, if there are still participants within your meeting and you leave, the meeting will continue with them, so it kind of automatically keeps it running. You want to click on the drop down here and click end meeting. And then once you end meeting there, you'll see it ends it for everybody, and then you can just end it that way. And then you've got all of your meetings here going on, and you can click continue, and it will take you back then to your main meeting dashboard.